These are the statistics for my second account when this video was made. And you can see these are my statistics for the past few days after I started playing this account again, and I hope it works for you too. I will also show evidence later at the end of the video, where one of my accounts was set in such a way to make the statistics drop. Hey guys, this time I will tell you a fact about why free players have less good or even bad statistics. There are many things that cause this to happen. Some things cannot be changed because they have been set, but some things you can change as time goes by and experience increases. The thing you can't change is or matchmaking. Many channels and content creators have discussed this, and it is a fact that has been happening for a long time, and not only in this game but also in other games. That's logical because games are created to make money, and whoever gives more money will get benefits in the game, including which is good and profitable for the player. And it's certainly different for players who only spend a little money or free players. It's easy to find proof. You can look at players who do live streaming and watch their matches in 10 or 20 matches, and you will see the difference. I will also show evidence later at the end of the video, where one of my accounts was set in such a way to make the statistics drop. I'll explain it to you so you know, and I hope it will make your stats better even if you're a free player like me. First of all, we need to underline to make this discussion easier. In statistics, there are many things that are recorded. Generally, what is often seen is the percentage of wins, damage, and assistance damage. But there are many other things that are recorded regarding the player's performance in battle, such as the number of vehicles destroyed, damage blocked, and so on. Then all of this is accumulated and becomes points to determine the player's rating. So in general, we can conclude that the player rating is the conclusion of all these statistics, which shows how good a player is. But that doesn't mean a good rating automatically means the player is very good at playing all tanks. Because it could be like this account, where he only played 2 light tanks to get his rating, and it must be admitted that he played both tanks very well. But we don't know what the results would be if he played another type of tank. And if he was grinding a different tank every month like I do, then I'm sure the results would be much different, and his ratings wouldn't be as good. So even though the rating determines how good a player is, that doesn't mean he knows everything and is good at playing all types and tiers of tanks, because it could be that he only focuses on playing a few types of tanks which are generally classified as good tanks or maybe classified as OP. And from the 2 vehicles this player owns, I think we can tell that the player is not a free player, because to get ELC even 90 you have to buy it with gold. Apart from that, this account seems to be a second account, which means this player is experienced and already knows the ins and outs of the 2 vehicles he is playing. There are many things we can conclude after seeing this account. Can you see them too? As we know, to get to a certain or highest tier, we have to start from the lowest tier first, then gradually move up the tiers one by one. Which means that every time we move up a tier we have to learn and get used to it, and generally when we play for the first time we don't immediately know the advantages and disadvantages of a tank, and of course we will have difficulty maneuvering, aiming, and so on. Meanwhile, for someone who spends money, they can immediately jump to the tier they want and skip the tier that they feel is quite difficult to play. So grinding and playing different tanks every month is the first reason that makes the statistics worse. Like it or not, as free players we still have to do it to reach the highest tier or tier 10, at least until we get all the tier 10 tanks we want. The next thing is related to the crew. As free players, apart from grinding gradually, we also have to start from a crew that is less than 100%, and definitely without skills. This will of course greatly affect the player's performance in each battle, and free players have to go through it whether they want to or not. While paying players can get a crew with many skills by spending their money. Previously I made 2 videos about crew. The first is how to train crew quickly, and the second is how to get crew who already have skills for free. I hope it helps you if you're a free player, and at least saves more if you're a medium or small spender. And to see players who spend money, I think you can look for it in various videos on YouTube, where they always use a crew that has a lot of skills. The next thing is related to equipment, as free players generally can only use standard equipment. While someone who spends money will of course choose to use something better such as bounty equipment or improved equipment. This will certainly improve the player's performance in each battle, because the benefits in terms of percentage are much greater than normal equipment. The next thing that is also very influential is the use of premium ammo. Apart from better penetration, premium ammo will also provide more damage compared to regular ammo, and of course this will also affect the player's performance. And we all know free players can't always use premium ammo, and generally only in certain situations and if they have to. While players who spend money have a lot of credits and don't worry about it. And although I can't prove this now, but I'm sure spending money will also affect the RNG, where the accuracy becomes better and the risk of misses will be smaller. I think it's the same as MM, and as I said before, whoever gives more money will get more profits in every game, including this game. The next thing is something that other people probably rarely think about. As we know, someone who spends money on games definitely has a lot of money to spend, and definitely has a good device including the best internet speed, so they can play smoothly without any problems. Meanwhile, people who don't spend money on games don't mean they're stingy, but it's definitely because they have limitations. And with these limitations, of course, the devices they use will not be as good as the players who spend money, as well as the internet speed. It's also very influential, and I experienced it myself, where sometimes when maneuvering or aiming the game suddenly lags, and that happens often. Meanwhile, when I saw live streaming from several other players who had a lot of gold, which means they spent a lot of money, I didn't see them experiencing it at all. Next, it's about knowledge and experience, and it needs to be underlined that everything I said before is not related to experience. I mean, someone with the same level of knowledge and experience will definitely perform differently between spending money and not. If you want to prove it, it's easy, just create two accounts where one is free and the other you spend money. The more money you spend, the better, because the difference will be more clearly visible, and you can tell me the results later after playing the account for a few months. And speaking of knowledge and experience, of course that is the most important thing to improve statistics, no matter you spend money or not. Without knowledge, someone will always make mistakes, whether small mistakes or big mistakes that impact the entire team's game. If you are smart enough to understand, of course you know that no one immediately has experience when they first try. Everyone needs a process to increase their knowledge and experience. I hope you still remember your process when learning to read and write at school, and I hope you still remember how many mistakes you made and things you didn't understand before, until you finally became fluent in reading and writing. That's just a simple example. Everyone's learning speed is different, and it depends on each person's IQ. But as long as there is a willingness to learn, knowledge and experience will definitely increase. And the longer you study, the more you know. What matters is, did you learn the game, and is what you learned correct and suitable for you? So that's what you can do to improve your rating, namely by increasing your knowledge and experience. For example, my first account, where when I first started playing I didn't know anything about this game. Unfortunately, I forgot to take a screenshot at that time, but if I'm not mistaken, when my battle was still under 10,000, my rating was only Gold 1. But as my knowledge and experience increases, my rating also increases. This is when my battle is 12,000. And now when this video is made, this is my rating, and it will always increase every month. I usually reset the stats session once a month, after the discount on the tech tree changes. These are some of the last recordings I took before resetting the statistics. At the moment I'm actually not focused on increasing my rating. This is all happening purely because of increasing knowledge and experience. If I want to focus on increasing my rating, it's actually easy, namely by playing a tank that I have mastered where the rating is always high. And there's no need to grind a different tank every month, because every time I buy a new tank my rating usually doesn't increase and sometimes even goes down a little. The reason is because, as I discussed before, my stats will only increase after I play more than 10 times, after I know the ins and outs of the tank I'm playing, and also because of increased crew training. Improvement will also only occur after researching and using all the best modules. I think we all know that this module will also have an influence on player performance, apart from what I said before. In this case, it is natural that performance drops when we start playing new tanks, especially free players. But as time goes by, everything will increase little by little. But don't think grinding is a bad thing, because it is actually good for increasing your knowledge and experience. All you need is to be patient and learn the advantages and disadvantages of each tank you play. So when you face it on the battlefield, you already know how to deal with that tank because you've played with it. So I think this goes some way to explaining how stupid people are who try to compare accounts, like this guy. Or he is someone who spends money, then compares his account with mine, which is a free player. In one of the comments, he also provided incorrect information about vertical stabilizers, because TD could not use that equipment at all. You can check it yourself, there is no such equipment option for TD, and he doesn't even know that. Even though HT Tier 8 and above can use this equipment, do you think it is better than other equipment and makes your performance better? You can do it if you want. Although some HTs are quite effective when using this equipment, but not for all heavy tanks, maybe I will explain it someday, but not now because it is beyond discussion and would be too long to explain in detail. Before I provide evidence about the mentioned at the beginning of the video, I think it is necessary to explain a little for the people who feel they know best and also feel they are the greatest. There are some people who think that ratings or WTR are not important, are not good indicators, and so on. I think they are just stupid or hypocritical. Because many other channels discuss it, as well as providing some information on how to increase ratings. Why do they discuss it if it's not important or can't be an indicator? Do they think it's just a display without a purpose? I have taken a sample of several accounts for comparison. I took these accounts randomly after random battles and I chose those with more than 10,000 battles. Actually, the number of battles and tank tiers played also have an effect, but I couldn't find examples that were exactly the same, because it was too difficult to find. But I think this is enough to show that the rating and WN8 are in line. We can see that the higher the rating, the higher the account's WN8. And because the rating is an accumulation of all battles, of course we also have to look at WN8s overall. We can also see that almost all of these accounts have increased WN8. You can see it from recent WN8, and that means their rating will also increase. It is common for accounts that have more than 10,000 battles. That's because they already have experience and it continues to grow and grow. Some of them may also have focused on increasing their rating by focusing on playing the tanks they have mastered. For beginners and players who are still under 10,000 battles, you don't need to think about this. Focus on gaining as much knowledge and experience as possible and just enjoy the game. Your rating will automatically increase over time, and if you later master a vehicle and enjoy playing it, you can focus on playing that tank to increase your rating. But there will be one problem if you are just a free player, because as already discussed, the and RNG of your account will not be the same as a paying account. But at least without paying, I'm sure you can get an Ace 1 rating easily after having enough experience. If your number of previous battles is too many and your rating is too low, it may take a long time to increase it. But at least you can see the process from your statistics. This is my average rating every month, sometimes a little lower depending on the line played. And sometimes even higher if by chance the line being played has lots of good tanks and suits my playing style. If you think increasing your account rating is taking too long because there were too many battles before, you can create another account once you have enough experience, like I did. This is my second account, and just like the first account, it is still without spending money. I don't mean to lie, so far I've only spent less than $1 on this account, and less than $5 on my old account. I think that amount of money is completely meaningless and can't do much for the game, and I hope no one will have an issue with that. Just like my first account, I grind different tanks every month and don't focus on ratings. The only difference is, my first account is for learning where I started at that time without any experience. Meanwhile, I created this second account after I had experience, with more than 10,000 battles in about a year. These are the statistics for my second account when this video was made. Actually, I haven't played this account for a month. That's because previously on this account made me sick. I'm the type of person who likes challenges and doesn't like to complain. But I feel like the last time was no longer a challenge but rather torture, and I'm really annoyed. These are some screenshots I took after I started to notice that I was always in the low tier position, and that too often. This has happened several times in a row before, but I still consider it normal to occasionally be in a low tier position. But after some time I started to feel this was not normal, then started paying more attention and taking screenshots. Honestly, I don't mind if I lose as long as the battle is fun. But how can it possibly be fun if I'm always in low tier, or I have to use a lot of premium ammo, which results in almost always minus credits? How could it not be annoying if it happens often, plus the team is unbalanced, which leads to defeat? Some people may vent their anger on their team who did something wrong, but that's not my way. Because I realized that some people are still in the learning stage, and blaming them won't change anything. I will only blame for being excessive in determining the match, because that is outrageous in my opinion, and this is the first time I have experienced this after playing for almost 2 years. I don't know the exact reason why that happened, but it seems there is only one reason that makes sense, namely because I didn't pay, so the system deliberately did that so that my win rate went down. Even though my win rate decreased from above 50% to below 50%, fortunately it didn't affect my rating or WN8. That's because I already have experience and know how to play. But we can imagine if that happened to a beginner player who lacked experience. I'm sure they will just think of a way to end the game as soon as possible. And as far as I remember, I used to think like that when I was a beginner, and sometimes I was lazy at the start when I found out I was the lowest tier. If you're going through the same thing, I think you can do something similar like I did. Stop playing on your account for a month and play on another account, or create a new account if you don't have one yet. Because for me it works, I'm no longer in the lowest tier too often, unlike before. As for the win rate, I don't really care because I know myself as a free player. And you can see these are my statistics for the past few days after I started playing this account again, and I hope it works for you too. Although I don't know because I don't pay much attention, but as you can see I got 9 days of premium account, right after I finished one battle. It seems like it's from a mission, although I don't know what mission, but it seems to be related to accounts that are playing again after not playing for a long time. And this is WN8 and my statistics these few days after starting to play again. For more details, you can check it yourself. Hopefully this video is useful and can increase your knowledge, and make you more enthusiastic and always think positively in the game, even though you are often in difficult and annoying situations. I will inform you of all my knowledge on this channel. If you are interested in watching me while streaming, you can see it on my other channels, but currently I only use Indonesian because I am not fluent in English. You can check the link on the community tab, hopefully it can broaden your insight. I'm sure it will be helpful for beginners and free players. You can see everything I do live while streaming, such as the equipment used, crew skills, and positioning tanks on various maps. You can imitate what you think is right and good, or ignore it and take lessons if it is wrong and not good. You can also ask if you have any doubts and I will answer you directly if you use Indonesian, and will answer you after the live ends if you use a language other than Indonesian. I can't promise much, but at least I guarantee that after I have enough videos, someone in the future will learn more quickly about this game. And even without spending money you can play like a normal and above average player, know what to do in each battle, and of course you will have an account, at least like my second account. Of course all the choices are yours as to whether you will watch my videos, like them and subscribe. Or maybe make me more enthusiastic about making videos, such as by making positive comments or even sending donations and so on. Everything is in your hands, and whatever it is, I hope you continue to have fun in the game no matter what, just like I do. And hopefully you get better and better as time goes by. Because that's how it should be if someone learns. So in the end, I hope you enjoy your day and your game. Thank you for watching until this moment. See you in the next video.